getting my gift bags on, all ready for Christmas Day. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is my weekly vlog for Monday, December the 23rd, 2019, 2 days away from Christmas Day, and it's vlog number 147. I don't think I said that. The numbers don't really mean anything anyways. So, what have I been up to? Well, you could see in the teaser that I've been packing up Christmas presents for some of our relatives, and they're all coming here, Walter's family that is, on Christmas Day for dinner, and we're going Christmas Eve over to my sister's place for dinner. So busy couple of days, and in between all of that and now and then we have to get our cooking done as well, and probably clean up the house a little bit as well. I gave the cleaning lady the week off. Okay, she only comes every 2 weeks, but we gave her this week off because, or the next session off, I guess, because it's Christmas. Okay, so what have I been up to? Well, I've put together the games for the sewing retreat that Ultimate Sewing is going to be having in March. Walter and I kind of volunteered to add a little bit more excitement to the retreat by doing some friendly games and whatnot. And so I've got that all worked out and all planned and everything, and it seems to be a go. So I was busy with that. And what else? Well, I've been working with my embroidery part of my sewing machine and created this. What is this, you say? This is a quilt block. It's called a crazy quilt block because it's all pieces in mishmash order, and there's little, you can't really see it all that well, but there's fancy stitching. You can see it along each of the seams of the pieces. Now, I've got 2 of these made, and the idea here is that you would just keep making them, and they're done right in the embroidery part of the sewing machine. It stitches them all together and does all of this, and then you just cut them out when you're done and you have a block. And the idea is you can make a really nifty quilt using up your scraps. I don't think I'm going to make a quilt. I think I'm going to play with this a little bit more. I've got several different designs in my machine, and I might make a wall banner or something like that. Actually, that just gave me an idea. I could make these into a wall hanging for my mother. Yeah, that would be good, and they'd be about the right size to fit on her doors. Okay, know what I'm going to do with them now. I actually tried it out just to see how it works, and I had to fiddle around a little bit with the instructions, but I think I've got it now. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make these into decorative banners for my mother's wardrobe drawers in her room, because after Christmas, after New Year's, we'll take down all the Christmas stuff, and you know how things look right after Christmas when you put all your Christmas decorations away. Your house looks a little bare. So this would be a way to bring a little brightness into her room. Yeah, thinking out loud here. Okay, so found a new channel that I'm checking out. It's funny. This guy's name is Christopher Hiedeman, I think is how you say it. Every Christopher that seems to be on YouTube putting up videos is doing home decor. I don't know, maybe it goes with the name. I'm not sure about that. But anyways, I found this one really interesting. He has a lot of videos about how he decorated his, I think it's a century home that he lives in. I'm not sure where he is located, but it's somewhere, I assume, in the United States, and it's someplace that has snow. And it's really quite nice. Not over the top nice. Well, it's over the top for anything that I do, but I thought I'd share this with you. So check out Christopher Hiedeman's YouTube. If you're interested in home decor, and especially around this time of the year at Christmas, you want to check out Christopher Hiedeman. I hope I'm saying that name right. His YouTube channel. He has a lot of great decorating tips, but his house is just fantastic. It's really lovely. So it's worth just visiting the YouTube channel just to see decorating ideas for Christmas. His stuff is not quite over the top. It's very tasteful, very classy. So it might give you some ideas, but he has other videos as well for decorating throughout the year. So check out Christopher Hiedeman. So the link is in the show notes below, as is the link to my blog, as is the link to Stephen and Walter Live. And we had a really interesting or different, I don't know if it was, I guess people were interested. I don't know. Nobody said they weren't. What we did yesterday for Stephen and Walter Live is we talked about our anniversary. We just celebrated our 36th anniversary. So we've been together for 36 years. Yep, that's a long time even in gay years. Okay. And we also took everybody around for a little house tour. Now, our house does not look anything like Christopher Hiedeman's house or Christopher Allen's house or any of the other Christophers out there, of course. But I know people sometimes are interested in to see what other people's decor and house is like. And so we thought we would do that. And so we did. We had a couple of little dropouts with the connection, but it came back up pretty quick. So you'll probably notice that on the video if you weren't already with us on the live version. So you might be interested to check that out. And if you are, if you want to be a voyeur, okay, then go to the link that's listed below. And there's the link for the book of this week and also for the latest edition of my iCraft shadow frame kits. And I have a new link to a tutorial, first part of a tutorial, about the Dove of Hope quilt that I'm working on. And that's in the Idiot Quilter, and it's linked below as well. Okay, so what's pissing me off this week? Okay, let me say this first of all. Shouldn't be saying anything about being pissed off this week because this is the most festive time of the year, right? And I was debating, thinking, you know, maybe we just skip it in the spirit of the season. But no, I did think of something. And really, it's more about me, and I don't know if other people think this way too, but it's called second guessing your Christmas plans, and it always happens at the last minute. And what I mean by that, and what it pisses me off about that, is I'm pissed off with myself when this happens, is that I look at everything I've got planned, and I plan a lot. I have my lists, the whole bit, and I do it well in advance and the whole bit, but there's always either something I forgot or something that I decide at the last minute that I want to include. Sometimes that's a food item, which you don't usually figure out that you're missing something until you start the cooking process, right? And then you have to run out to whatever store is open at the last minute and pick that item up. The other thing is like decorations. Oh, maybe I should put that over there. I don't know, especially when you got people coming over, okay? And then it's the gifts, okay? We don't buy a lot of gifts. Although, according to that teaser, it looked like there was a lot of stuff. Not really. Those bags are filled with just trinkets. Really, you know, chocolate, things like that. There's nothing too exciting in those bags. The bags are probably the most exciting part of the whole thing. But I got looking at them the other day and thought, those bags need one more thing. So I made one more thing. And let me just grab one of the bags to show you what I mean. Now, ignore the sticky note that's on the bag. That's for me to keep this straight. But I added some of these. I made some as bells, and they're all different fabric, and I made some that are angels, and they hang from the bag. And basically, you can take it off the bag, and it becomes a Christmas tree ornament. This was done in my embroidery machine. It took a while to do them, but I saw the pattern, and embroidery online, where I get a lot of my stuff, we're having a big sale. And so I thought, what the heck? Actually, no, those came from Creative Kiwi, and they were freebies. So I can never turn down a freebie. And they're cute. And yeah, they took a little while to make because I had to make 8. But that's what I mean. Last minute again, you know. And you second guess yourself because you think about, oh, wait, did I miss somebody on the list? For example, if I get invited to something, I don't like to go empty-handed. Now, yes, I always take a bottle of wine, of course, but at Christmas time, you want to take something a little extra. And I don't want to just take chocolate because, you know, at Christmas time, everybody gets a ton of chocolate, you know, and then we eat that all, we get fat, we complain and say we're not going to do that again. And then we have a New Year's resolution that says we're going to go to the gym, and we don't get there. So, you know, I like to bring something that's a little bit more personal and something that I've made. Now, I don't think I've missed anybody this year, but never say never, and that'll piss me off because you want to know something at the last minute, I'll realize, oh, crap, I forgot this, I didn't do that. I don't know. And I guess that's all part of the stress that this season brings upon people. You know, everybody wants it to be the perfect Christmas. And is it ever the perfect Christmas? Whose fault is that? Well, we're sucked in. It's our fault because we're sucked in by the advertising on TV that shows everybody walking around in lovely clothes and their houses are decorated to the nines and it's perfect, and the perfect turkey or ham that they've cooked for Christmas dinner, and everybody is looking beautiful, great makeup, you know, all that kind of stuff, and we feel inadequate. And that pisses me off. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to those ads because those are fake. Nobody's Christmas looks like that. Nobody's. And if it does, they've got people. Yeah, they've got people that do that for them. Well, I don't have people. So, you know, it is what it is. And I guess you should look at things in a more simple point of view. I am kind of digressing here from what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh, second guessing your Christmas plans. But I suppose this is all part of the second guessing. Is it going to be good enough? Because let's face it, Christmas time can become very competitive. Especially if you're going out to a lot of different events at Christmas. Everybody's trying to give the ultimate Christmas party, aren't they? Everybody's trying to make everything perfect for their guests. And there's the competition again. And that creates stress. So, I'm not going to belabor the point. I think everybody's been there. Everybody's experienced this kind of thing. So, it just pisses me off that these things happen to us, that we second guess ourselves. And when we second guess ourselves, we start to feel inadequate. We shouldn't feel inadequate. Christmas is a time to get together with friends and family and just enjoy their company. And if we keep that in mind, I think we have a lot less stress. Now, having said that, later today, we got to get the bird in the oven. Okay. All right, let's move on. So, what's new? Nothing. Okay, that was easy. Book review. Yeah, one thing I forgot to show you under, it's not what I've been up to, it's what Walter's been up to. And we meant to show this yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live, and we forgot. And we're a little hesitant to show it because it is going to be a gift. And I'm not going to say for who it's for, and that person may not even see this vlog, so it'll be fine. But Walter's been making his bags, and he made this bag. And I think it's fun. The colors in it are bold, bright, beautiful. And it's a beautiful bag. I mean, he is really got this down pat. And the zipper, even the zipper, and he just ordered some more of these types of zippers because they're really nice. And inside, I don't know if he put it in a pot. Oh, he did. Walter is great for detail. He has pockets on the inside as well. And look at that. The fabric, he's picked the whole bit, and it feels so nice as well. I should get him to make me one. But the zippers are perfect. They go in so nice. They even got these little thing on the end. I don't know if I can show it here. Put it this way. That's not working. Well, trust me. It's got this little pull on here. Here it is. That's really kind of cute too. So it's a beautiful bag. Oh, and there is a pocket down on the sides as well. On both sides. I mean, who wouldn't love this? He's even put a little bit of detail on it with decorative stitching right along there. Yeah, I'll never make a bag again. His corners are perfect, absolutely perfect. This is a bag. I think I hit my microphone. This is a bag that you would pay, I'd say, a fair amount of money for if it was in a store. And I've said to him, we need to find an outlet to sell bags. Of course, when you get into a business with this and you try selling them, that's when it doesn't become fun anymore to make. And I think he's enjoying making these. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So it had to be shown. And hopefully the person that's going to get this doesn't see this vlog and spoils the surprise. And if they do, act surprised. Okay, so that takes us to the book of the week. I forgot I'd had this one. It's called Paper Cut It by, who's it by? Marion, Elliot. And basically, it says on the back, discover the art of paper cutting with this striking collection of original project ideas. And there's a lot of stuff in here. You know, I really got to go back to my roots here and start going through these books again and maybe making some of these projects. because there's a lot of really cute and interesting ideas. And it's a nice book, nicely illustrated, nice pictures, good instructions as well. And it's just all paper craft, but very, unique paper craft. Now, it's probably, well, it's not probably, these are projects that do take a little time and a little patience. There's patterns in the back. Oh, those would make applique patterns. Anyways, always thinking about sewing. But a really nice book. So what did I pay for this book? When I bought it, this book cost me in Canadian dollars $23.99. And I've had it quite a while, like years. And I went looking for it. I found it on Amazon.ca. And it was $23.99 when I bought it. On Amazon, you can get it for $24.16, but it has free shipping. But there are also some used books. It was listed under the used book category, and they were a lot cheaper. And as I've said before, don't be afraid to buy a used book off of Amazon, because I've had nothing but good luck with anything that I have bought that way. And you save a lot of money, and many, many times the book looks just like you just bought it off the shelf. So, that's an alternative for saving money. Okay, so the link to that's in the show notes below, as I mentioned before. And let me see. Okay, so that takes us then to the third installment of the iCraft Shadow frames that I was doing. This is the last installment for that kit. And this time I embellished it, and I got a little wacky with this kind of embellishment, as you'll see. Okay, so now I'm going to do the final embellishing of these frames, and you can see that I put a picture in each one of these. This is actually pictures of Walter, and this is when we were in Melbourne a couple of years ago, Melbourne, Australia, and we were looking at some street art here, and we were looking at some more formal art in a local art gallery here. So I cut these two pictures out so they'll fit into the frame, and I've just put a little double-sided tape, which I see may or may not be holding on to this very well, in each of those, and those are my bases. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate the outside of the frame. Now I'm not really sure how to attempt this. I have already given both of these frames a treatment, as you know from the last segment, and I think I'm probably going to be covering up most of this. But that's the nature of mixed media, right? You do things in layers, and don't get too attached to one layer, because it probably will get covered up. So I'm not that attached to these two layers. They're probably going to get covered up. What am I going to cover them up with, you may ask? Well, I have in front of me an assortment of things. I have a big box of wine corks. No, I did not drink all these bottles of wine. Well, actually, that's not all of them. When I say I have a big box, I have a big box of corks, which someone gave me. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. I have a bunch of these little gold plastic buttons that I've cut the shanks off of that I think are kind of interesting. And I have been using sort of gold throughout these, so I may use these. And then I got this big box of beads in all kinds of colors. So I think I'm going to do sort of a layered effect. I'm going to use the corks on the bigger frame, and I'll use the buttons on the smaller frame, and then I'm going to use as filler some of these beads, just randomly select them and see what I get from that. And then after I've done that, I'm just going to fill in any spaces with, I'm thinking right now, maybe some flowers, because those are sort of my go-to, or whatever. We'll see how this turns out. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. This is the fun of doing something like this, because you start with a basic idea and it grows from there. At least I hope it will grow in a positive manner. I have my glue gun off to the side, heating up, and I will be using some of my famous Gorilla Glue that I love so much for this, for sticking things down, especially items like this. They will need a good glue, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to get started, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done so far. So I've glued down some corks and some of the buttons on these two frames. I didn't give this a lot of thought. I just went with whatever was grabbing me at the moment. So I ended up cutting a couple of the corks in half and placing them on the corners, and then I have these other ones full size here. These two buttons I just threw on here. Like I said, I didn't think a lot about this, and I see there's a glare here. And on this one, I just threw some more buttons here, and I found these two little things in my stash. I just stuck them on. I haven't really been thinking too much about it. I am thinking of giving each one of these a title, and before I fill in the space, I want, this one says Stay Curious, so I think I'm going to put it there. And then I have this little one by Tim Holtz. It's a metal one, says Embrace Imperfection, and I think I want to put it right there. So I'm going to put a little dark ink around the edges of this one, and I'm just going to glue these down, and then I've got to think about something to do with these corks. Do I want to leave them as looking like corks in cork color, or do I want to glitz them up a little bit with maybe a little gold paint or something like that? I have to think about that, and I'll come back and show you what my decision has been. So what I'm going to do, and again, this could be a big mistake, but I'm not sure. I did a little experimentation off camera on one cork with these colors. And these are the Luscious Pigment powders from Indigo Blue, and I had to order them from the UK, and they are pure pigment that you just add water to, and they give you some really brilliant colors. And what I'm mixing them on is this little palette here. The thing about these particular paints is if you put them in a palette like this and you only need just a tiny little amount of the pigment, add a little water. I just misted water on top of these, and then you've got a lot of paint. But when you're done with these, let this sit and dry. Don't clean it out. And there's a cover I have for this as well, and they will reactivate if you spritz a little water on them. So these are fairly pricey, especially if you have to get them from the UK, and I live in Canada, so I had shipping on top of that. But they're going to last forever because you use so very little of them. So I'm just going to take a paintbrush right here, and I'm just going to dab color everywhere. I'm going to start with a little bit of the blue, and I'm just applying it randomly. Now, it seems to be beating up a little bit on the corks, and that's to be expected because these corks are probably treated. Because they are, or were, in wine bottles. And I'm not trying to cover all the corks completely. Run out of paint here. I'm just adding little dabs of color here and there. And as I said, I have 4 different colors. I'm out of shot here that I'm going to do. I'm essentially just, I'm not really brushing it on, I'm just sort of patting it on. And I think what I'll have to do is probably dry these between applications. Okay, so I'll just get out my dryer here. Now, of course, as I said, these are a water-soluble paint. They're basically a watercolor. And, of course, they will reactivate when they get wet. At least I think they will. I know they do when they're in the paint palette. And I'm not going to be that thorough in my drawing because I don't mind if the colors blend a little together. Now they are absorbing a little bit into the cork, I notice, as I dry them. But because I don't want to cover the corks up completely, I want you to see that these are actually corks. Then I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so let's add another color. I kind of pick colors that are already in this picture. So the greens, the teals, that kind of thing. I'm just having fun, just dabbing paint on with no real rhyme or reason. Now remember what I said at the beginning of this segment? You will cover up layers you always do when you're doing mixed media projects, so don't get attached to any one layer. Even if it gets completely covered up, you'll still know it's there. But it's all part of the process. Okay, I'm going to continue doing this with my other colors, and I'll be back and show you what this looks like. Okay, so here's what the corks look like now that I've applied some of that pigment. So it gives it a little bit of a color, and these pigments do have a bit of shimmer to them, so there's a bit of a shine. I'm kind of liking it, but it's still nowhere near finished yet. You notice that I did put on this little saying here, says stay curious, and I put embrace imperfection on this one. I want to get those on before I add more elements, just in case I don't have any place to really stick them afterwards. So I'm going to continue with this frame for a minute. I'm going to put this one over to the side, and I've got my big box of beads in here, and I'm thinking that I'm just going to stick beads every which way. So all I'm going to do, and I might need tweezers for this, and do I have a pair of tweezers handy? Maybe not. Well, maybe I don't need them. We'll see. If I need them, I'll stop the video and I'll get them when I do need them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun, and I'm just going to put a little bead of glue right here. I hate the strings that come off of glue guns. And I'm not even going to worry about color or shape or size. I'm just going to put these in around and we'll see what happens. The glue gun works great for this kind of thing. In fact, I'm thinking I may put a few just up here, and I think I need a new glue stick. Oops. Let's see, that there, and here. Sort of cluster them around. Just see what I get as I work on this. Okay, I'm having a little problem with my glue gun staying up. It's in a little stand. It's off camera, you can't see it, but so you see, you get the idea. I'm just clustering these in various parts of the frame. I am covering up what I did before, and I said don't get attached, because that is going to happen when you're playing with mixed media. Okay, so there's one cluster. I think I'm going to, I'm doing something here. I tend to go for symmetry, and I'm going to go, so I'm going to take this little cluster, and it won't be the same beads, but I'm going to put them in sort of the same pattern over here, and I'll do some more around, and I'll come back and we'll look at it when I get that part done, because you don't want to watch glue dry. Okay, so my frames are done, and I'm kind of happy with the way they turned out. And this didn't take really all that long. And the one reason why it doesn't take that long is because I really didn't think about it. I just went with the flow. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice, because I really didn't have that much of a plan. All I knew is that I wanted to use some corks, I wanted to use some buttons, and I wanted to use some beads. So here's the final outcome. This little frame, I think, is very elegant looking. You know, it looks like it's a metal frame now with all these things on it, but it's not, of course, as you know. And on this one, all I added in addition to the beads, corks, and buttons were some little flower stems here and some little flower buds there just to finish it off. So I think both of these turned out kind of attractive. Now, they might not be to everybody's taste, but I had fun making them. And really, that's all that matters. So that ends this project with the iCraft shadow frames. So that's the end of that series on that particular kit. And you will find, I've put it in the show notes below. Did I put it in the show notes below? Yes, I did. I have all 3 segments of that in one video in my iCraft playlist. Just so if you're interested and you want to see it again, you don't have to go through all my vlogs. You can just go to one video and it'll all be there for you. And our next project is another iCraft kit. I think this is the second to last of the iCraft kits, and it's called the Flip Fold Album. And so we'll be assembling this next week, hopefully. Depends on how busy I get this week. Okay, so that takes us to events in the past week. Well, my mother, she's doing okay. She fell yesterday again. Got a phone call about 6:30 from the people at her nursing home telling me, yep, she had fallen. She was fine. She hadn't hurt herself. They were monitoring the situation. I said, what was she doing when she fell? They said, oh, she was trying to pick up something off the floor. We've had this discussion, my mother and I. And then the staff member on the phone said, do you want to talk to her? Well, I tried to get a hold of her earlier in the day and she never answered her phone, which is pretty much the usual process these days. So I said, yes, I would like to speak to my mother, please. So I spoke to her. I said, so, heard you had a fall. Well, yes. I said, what were you doing? Well, there was this thing on the floor and I was trying to pick it up. And I said, and we've had the discussion, haven't we, Mother? And I was very stern with her. Not that that has any effect. I said, we've had the talk. Don't be reaching for things. If you can't reach it comfortably, safely, leave it. The staff will get it for you. Call them in. They'll pick it up. Fine. I said to her, we don't need you in the hospital. I think she's got this death wish. I don't know what goes through her head. Now, Walter says, well, his mother was sort of the same way. They think they can do the things they've always done, but they can't. But they don't get that. I don't know whether to believe that or not, because my mother, her mind isn't gone. I sometimes think she does this just to get a reaction out of me. I don't know. Now, you don't know my mother, but I do. And that's what she's like. So anyways, I said to her, don't do it. This is not going to stop her. She's going to do it again, and she is going to get hurt. And then we have a problem. Like Walter says, well, yeah, they'll take her in the hospital, they'll fix her up, and they'll just send her right back to the home. I said, yes, but it has nothing to do with my mother. It has everything to do with me. My mother goes into the hospital again. We will have to be over at the hospital every day, checking on her. Yeah, maybe that sounds horrible. Maybe I'm being really selfish about it. But when things like this can be avoided, then let's avoid them. Let's not put you in harm's way here. This is why you're in the nursing home, because you need assistance. So take the assistance. But I don't need to have to change my life because you've decided to do something stupid, quite frankly. And yeah, maybe that makes me a heartless person. I don't know. But I can tell you this, and there are many of you out there, I'm sure, have gone through something similar. Your brain never stops thinking about the person, ever. Every morning I get up and I'm listening for the phone. I'm in the bathroom. I'm getting ready for the day. I'm taking a shower. I'm doing my hair, my makeup. Can't you tell? It's lovely. And I'm just wait. And when that phone does ring, I go into panic mode. I go, oh, crap. Now what? Luckily, those phone calls, I've had them, but most of those phone calls are somebody trying to clean my ducks. And believe me, I don't have any ducks nor any barnyard animals in my house. I try to be funny. I try. It's trying. Anyways, but when I see the name of her nursing home come up on my phone, I go, oh God, no, what is it? She's hurt herself. She's in the hospital. She's dead. what? And you know, your whole day, in the back of your mind, you're thinking about this person as well, and you're worrying, and that gives you stress. And I don't know, maybe other people are able to compartmentalize those kind of thoughts and just tune it out, but I can't. I'm a worrier, and that eats away at me. And so when she does stupid things like this, when she knows she shouldn't, it just, you know, and I'm just waiting for the inevitable, because the inevitable will come. And you can't prepare yourself for it, no matter what. I hope it doesn't, but I know it will. One day she will fall. She will break a hip. She will break her leg. She will break an arm. She will dislocate a shoulder. She will do something. My mother physically is fairly fragile. You can spit through her, she's so skinny. She has osteoporosis. Not a good combination. Okay? And then I'll have to deal with that. And I don't want to have to deal with it. But if I don't, who does? So anyways, that's why I get a little upset when I find out that she has fallen. Simple as that. Maybe I'm heartless. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. Okay, that was cheery, wasn't it? Yeah, let's move on. So they did have an event, a Christmas event. They have it every year at the nursing home. And so Walter and I and my sister and my brother-in-law, we all went for this. And it was a guy on a guitar playing mostly Elvis Presley songs and Bruno Mars as opposed to Christmas. He actually admitted he didn't know a lot of Christmas songs to play. Okay, Santa made an arrival. One of the skinnier Santas I've ever seen, although he had a real beard, but it was more gray than white. But whatever. They had food. The food was good. You know, it was festive, so it was nice. I think my mother enjoyed herself. So, you know, that was great. I'm glad that it was a good time for them. They look after them so well at this home. I mean, it's an older home. You've heard me say that before. But the staff are second to none. They're just so good. And that is at least gives me some sense of calm, knowing that she's being cared for in a proper manner. So, yeah. Okay, moving on. What's my next note here? Oh, so we got some gifts for the ladies at Ultimate Sewing. We put together some little bags with chocolate Santa and some Lindor chocolates in it. And I dressed them up with a bow and little tag that I had made with their name on it. And we went into the store last week and handed them out to those that were working there and left the rest for the others who weren't working that day. And, you know, they seem to genuinely appreciate that. And, you know, I really, the ladies at Ultimate Sewing, I think of them more as friends than as employees of a store that I I go to a lot. Rented Lips. And so it's, you know, those little things I like to do. Actually, I like giving gifts. Especially like giving gifts when I know the people aren't expecting it. And I especially like giving gifts when I know what to get somebody, you know, i.e. Walter. And that kind of thing. But that does give me joy. Yeah, giving gifts. And I like to make them personalized as well. So these little bags had their name on them and everything. And so they got a little chocolate for Christmas. Just to let them know how much I appreciate the help they give us when we go into the store. And they do go above and beyond. Every one of them in that store. So, and I think that's why Ultimate Sewing is so successful. Because they really care about their customers. And they're not just trying to sell you stuff. You know, going to Ultimate Sewing is a social event as far as I'm concerned. And we go a lot. Of course, we buy a lot too, but we do go a lot. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, obviously Christmas Day. And you already know my Christmas plans, and I'm sure you're busy getting ready for your Christmas Day and everything like that. So, yeah, I hope Christmas is good for you. And that's it for me this week. Have a really great Christmas. There will be a Stephen and Walter Live this coming Sunday, as usual, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and my vlog next week. And yeah, and by then we'll be moving right into New Year's kind of a thing. Where did the year go? So anyways, You have a good holiday. You have a good Christmas, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.